So last night on my live, I had somebody that hopped on and said that they were having trouble with the grandmother's flower garden and piecing it together. For those of you who don't know, I do everything by hand, and so this might be a little bit of a longer video, and I have done the step-by-step tutorials on the grandmother's flower garden, and I will show you the one that I have done. And so this is the grandmother's flower garden that I have done. I did do this on my live. While I was live, I go live every evening. But anyway, this is the one that I done for my step-by-step tutorials. Okay, what she was having trouble with, she was having trouble getting hers to match up when she sewed them together. And so one thing that I want to say is that when you do that, you have your pieces. You want to make sure, and I know I talked about it on my step-by-step tutorial, you want to make sure that you are marking them. This is one that I do suggest that you mark the 1/4 inch. Just get you a ruler that has the 1/4 inch marking on it, and you want to make sure that you are marking it. And so we're going to mark here, and then you just turn it. You will have to mark them all, unfortunately. So this is just one pattern that I do suggest you do it too. I find that it just helps you stop at that 1/4 inch. Trying to make sure I can see it in this. And so why do we have to mark it? Because we need to stop where our lines meet. And it just helps it go together better. And so here is where, when you sew, you're going to stop where these two lines meet. So these are your points. You're not going to sew past those points. Now this is for hand piecing only. I'm just showing a tutorial for hand piecing. And so after you get all your pieces marked, I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Now I just use a regular pencil for this. If you have darker fabric and you need something that needs to write just a little bit darker, you might use a heat erasable pen or something like that. But I just pretty much just use just a regular pencil. Always remember to stick with the ruler that you are using. I cannot find my template that I cut these with right now. I'm gonna have to find that. But whatever template you use, make sure you stick to that. Don't use different templates in one quilt. Now you can use a different template for the next quilt, but just in the same quilt, don't use the same template, and make sure you stay with the same ruler. And the reason, I don't know why the reason is, but I have used another ruler to mark my 1/4 inch, and then it's like sometimes they're just a little off, or even I've used a different ruler to cut with, and my hexagons can be off. So make sure you stick to that. Also, when you draw your line, if you go past where your point is, where you're supposed to stop, don't worry about that. That's not going to be no big deal if it's past that. You just know that when these two lines connect, that is where your sewing is going to stop. Now I'm going to do this in a couple videos, because maybe 3 videos, because I just don't want these to be very long. So this is part 1 of this, because I have a trick I'm going to show. I call it a trick, but it's an easier way where you don't have to tie off as often. And I showed this last night in my live, and so I'm going to show it again. So anyway, come back for part 2.